You know the drill, right? You see that giant wall of legal text, the tiny checkbox, and you just click I agree to get on with it. We all do it. But what if that click is for a service like GoDaddy? You know, the company that's running your website, your domain, maybe your entire online business. Suddenly, that little click gets a whole lot heavier.
So today, we're going to unpack GoDaddy's Universal Terms of Service, or UTOS for short. And listen, this isn't just some boring fine print. Think of it as the fundamental rulebook for your entire relationship with them. It spells out exactly what you can do, what they can do, and crucially, what happens when it all goes south.
All right, first things first. Who is this contract even for? GoDaddy pulls no punches here. They make it crystal clear that their services are not for just personal household stuff. This is strictly a business-to-business deal.
And you really need to see how wide they cast this net for what a business customer is. You might be thinking, oh, that's not me, I'm just a one-person show. Well, guess what? According to GoDaddy, if you're a freelancer, an influencer, or even just using a domain for your own personal brand, bam, you're a business. And that's a huge deal because it completely changes the legal game and takes away a lot of the protections you might think you have as just a regular person.
Okay, so if that wasn't enough, here's the next big thing you need to know. That rulebook we just talked about, it's not set in stone. The rules you agree to when you sign up might be totally different a month from now. Yeah, GoDaddy gives themselves the power to change these terms pretty much whenever they want. And get this, they don't even have to email you about it. All they have to do is post the new version on their website, and that's considered notice. The burden is 100% on you to keep checking for changes.
So how do you end up agreeing to these new rules without ever clicking a button? It's simple and a little scary. The second you log back into your account or one of your services auto-renews after they've posted those changes, that's it. You've legally accepted the new terms. Just by continuing to use the service, you're saying, I agree.
Naturally, there's a long list of things you're not allowed to do. A lot of it is the obvious stuff, right? No hacking, no illegal activity. But then you get to these really vague phrases, like creating an unreasonable or disproportionately large load on their servers. What does that even mean? Well, it means they have a ton of room to decide you've broken the rules and suspend your account, just like that, with no warning.
And oh, they definitely put a price tag on breaking the rules. Take spam, for instance. If they find you're sending spam from your account, the terms say they can hit you with what they call liquidated damages of $1 for every single piece of spam sent. I mean, think about how quickly that could add up to a crazy amount of money.
Okay, let's move on to something that is absolutely critical and something most people never think about. What happens to your content? You know, the stuff you actually create and upload to their servers.
So GoDaddy splits your content into two different buckets. First, there's user submissions. This is stuff like a review you write or a post you make in their forums. For that stuff, you're basically handing over the keys. They own it, they can use it for anything, forever, and they don't have to pay you a dime. Then there's user content. This is the important stuff, like your website files, your photos. You still own this, but you're giving them a super broad license to use it. I mean, listen to the actual language from their terms. You grant them a worldwide, non-exclusive, royalty-free, sub-licensable, and transferable license. Whoa, that's a mouthful. What it means is they have a ton of power to use your content, not just to run your website, but also to promote their business. So yeah, theoretically, they could grab a cool photo off your public site and slap it into one of their ads. All right, let's follow the money. We've got to talk about the financial side of things. The way GoDaddy sets up payments, renewals, and fees, well, let's just say it's designed to be completely seamless and automatic for them.
First off, everything is set to auto-renew by default. You have to go in and manually turn it off yourself. If your main credit card gets declined, no problem for them. They'll just try every other card you have on file. And if none of those work, they might just renew you for a shorter time, like 1 year instead of 2, just to make sure they get some payment and keep you on the hook. Oh, and watch out for those subscription bundles. Some of them will sting you with an early cancellation fee. So what happens when things really go wrong? I'm talking a big billing error. Your site goes down for days, or maybe even a data breach. This is where the contract really shows its teeth.
The moment you agreed to these terms, you gave up your right to sue GoDaddy in court. Let me say that again. You cannot take them to court, you can't have a jury trial, and you can't join a class action lawsuit. Your one and only option is something called individual arbitration.
And that process is super rigid. First, you have to send a formal written notice.
Then, you enter a mandatory 60-day negotiation period. If that goes nowhere, then you can finally file for arbitration, and you have to do it in Arizona. And here's the kicker. You've only got 1 year from when the problem happened to file a claim. Wait any longer and your right to do anything is gone forever.
But honestly, this next part might be the most shocking thing in the entire document. This is the absolute total maximum amount of money GoDaddy will ever be liable for. It doesn't matter what happens. A catastrophic failure that wipes out your entire business, the most they're on the hook for is $10,000. That's it.
So when you step back and look at all these pieces together, one thing becomes incredibly clear. This entire agreement is built to do one thing: shift basically all of the risk away from GoDaddy and put it squarely on your shoulders.
So let's just quickly run through the big takeaways here. This contract is extremely friendly to GoDaddy, not you. You're considered a business customer, even if you're a freelancer. Their auto-renewal system is aggressive, and it's on by default. You're handing them a very broad license to your content. And if something goes wrong, you can forget about court. It's individual arbitration, and their liability maxes out at that surprisingly low number.
Now look, the point of all this isn't to tell you don't use GoDaddy. It's about going in with your eyes open, understanding exactly what you've signed up for. Which really leaves us with the big question that every single person using their platform for business has to ask themselves. Now that you know the real rules of the game, is the convenience they offer worth all the risk you're taking on? And that's a question only you can answer.